name's Chris Quinlan, and this is Melbourne Musos Live. And this show is all about the in-betweens, the add-on effect. I'll see you later, ladies. Oh, there you go. What have I got for the patch tonight? I have the cello pizzicato cellos doing an overtone scale. Okay, with the patch, which is often known as the Bartok scale. Bela Bartok, very famous composer, loved the overtone scale. Essentially, you have a sharp fourth and a flat seven. So it's 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, makes it a bit Lydian. 5, 6, flat 7, makes it a little bit mixolydian. And everything else, okay, octave, there you go. But that's not the show tonight. I'm going to keep this show fairly straightforward. And I'm taking them out. So what happens is the in-betweens, the add-on effect, okay. So this is a little bit more basically towards, you know, your student who's been going at it for about 6 months, a year, and they're seeing all this on face chookeries here on Doris. Hello, Doris, and all that stuff. But what I want to do is try and get it a little staircase to get things going and give you a couple of ideas. Let's start with the rock beat. Most basic one. No frills, no attachments. Rim shot. Open it up a bit. Crash. And now, what can start to happen is you've got a basic beat. And what we start doing is putting notes that are in between, you see. So if you're going quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, what you can start doing is with your left hand start putting in simple semiquavers. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then what you have, just to confuse things, this little term called ghost notes, okay? Little baby scratchy notes to give it a little bit of funkiness about it. What you've got is your volume control, 1 to 10. When I talk about just general accents, I tend to think in thirds, 9 and 3, let's say, okay? Could be 2 and 6. Could be 1 and 3. Whatever it is you're getting a contrasting kind of sound, you see. And then what starts to happen is that when you're doing things like this, rim shot, open hi-hats even. All of a sudden I'm doubling up on the bass drum as well. So if you've got this, doubling up. Are you getting boot camp down there? Hello. And what goes on then is that all of a sudden your beats are starting to get a little bit more funky, hopefully, if I'm doing it right. And what goes on, at least when you're grading it, if I go to my drum set syllabus that I wrote 30-something years ago, and the books, what happens is when you're playing a basic rock beat, you could think of that as basically, you know, preliminary into grade 1. When you're doing preliminary, it's not so much quavers, you might just be doing this. A 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Get it? Got it? Good. Then then you go into grade 1, you learn your quavers, 1 and 2. Parity between the guitar and the piano, all the other instruments, when you're starting to think, well, preliminary is just your basic crotchets and minims, a dotted minim and a semi-breve. Okay, grade 1 is where the quavers are generally introduced. We're still talking basics, but you know, what happens so often is that it's ungraded. It's like, oh, have a look at this, you know, sort of thing. And it's all whoosh, 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 whoosh. And the kids love it, no worries, but sometimes they expect to do it inside of 3 lessons, and it's just not going to happen. What goes on is that you want to try and get a graded kind of here we go. So no matter where you are, you're doing very well with what you've got at that particular time, rather than, oh, but can you do this? Whatever. And so what goes on is that, getting back into it, get a little bit of bounce to it. And then when you're getting that, you've got your doubles. So when you're dealing with just quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, you're starting to put the little extras. Now when I'm talking about grading and stuff like that, I tend to really get into that when it gets to the grade 3 level. Okay, there's that. Then what happens is you want to create a good even flow. Get it? Oh, I've done it already. Start to get into things like jazz. Look. And then you start using your rudiments, you see. That could be deemed a drag. Little double tap, you see. Then what's going on with all of this biz is as you're playing through it, you can start to add different things. You see. Now, some things are obvious, some things are a little bit more subtle, and with whatever you're doing, you can sort of bring it in, make it part of your style, get some things happening, and it doesn't take too much. You just need to play, practice, you know, that kind of thing. So one of the other things that can start to happen is that when you are playing a beat of any kind, in-betweens, little drag, but you'd think of it as 1 and a 2, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2, 3, 4, 1. Get it? There it is. There it is. I'm keeping it fairly basic today. If you only just walked in, I'm keeping it fairly basic for people that are still, you know, starting in their first year, second year of drumming, seeing all these wonderful drummers just go crazy. Oh, that kind of stuff. I remember once starting off drums and going to see a film, and it was pictures at an exhibition by Carl Palmer, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And Carl Palmer did this solo, and I came back just depressed. Even Mum said, "How come you're not playing your bloody drums?" And I said, "I'm too depressed. I just saw Carl Palmer do a solo. I don't even want to play drums anymore." And I kept going to my drum lessons with H, and he said, "What's going on, young Sonny Jimbo?" And I said, "I saw Carl Palmer. He's one of the best drummers in the world. You know, he's fantastic." H loved Carl Palmer. The brushwork for a rock drummer. There you go. And then I got back on the horse, and here we are. Yes, I was just about to say, some decades later. Anyway, so what goes on? Hang on, where am I? No. Yeah, those many decades. So what happens is you might have just a normal rock beat. Then put something in. Something like that. Anyway, I'm bouncing a little bit. Anyway, there you go. That's something about just doubling up, right? This can simply become John Henry Bonham with his right foot. There you go. Now, what goes on with that is that you have one in between in the most basic of ways. You could have this, one in between. You could have two in between. Double tap. Play your double stroke rolls. There you go. All right, so there's all that. Then what starts to happen is that as you're coming through, I so often say there's 3 ways to get a rhythm, okay? To make it simple for the students, is that the first way is to essentially, what we know best is to play a cymbal, and as you put the bass drum underneath and the snare drum, that's your beat. So if I just sort of went, I'm twisting. That's how you get your beat. You keep that going, and then whatever you put underneath, it can become a 4 on the floor or a twist. I might as well play them. 4 on the floor, twist, half time, normal time, cut time. See, it's all big. Whole thing, that, tick tock, tick tock, tick. See, that's the one. Second way to get a rhythm is what I'll talk about now, but I'll quickly get the third way to rhythm out the way is mixed sticking. But the second way to get a rhythm is put in an accent. So you could have so on, calypso, bum. And that's what I want to explain. What did I just do there? So, in-betweens is the subject of tonight. So you could have a basic accent study like a calypso, 3/2 clave, reverse clave, samba, anything like that. But what starts to happen is that you could have the flow. I'll put it up here so you can hear me count them. You could have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just right, left, single stroke roll. And then go to semiquavers with double stroke roll. So you can have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Therein lays the central, the central tenet of rudimental playing, marching drumming, right? All right, there you go. And what goes on then is that you could be doing things like that, but then bringing it into a rock beat kind of a feel. You could be doing, say, a 16th note figure here. Double it up. There it is. Okay, so that's what you've got. Now what goes on with that is that can become many things. Now getting back to things like an accent study, like a calypso or a 3/2 clave, I'll use that as the springboard, but you can do it with anything you want. What starts to go on is that you might be playing a calypso, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1. Because I'm doing it on the snare drum, makes it sound a little bit New Orleansy, second line rhythm stuff, right? So you might have 2 feel with the feet. All of a sudden I'm doubling up, and all of a sudden it starts to become like a snare drum solo, but it's still the beat. you've got that. One of the great things is two little motifs. Right, left, left. Marley's just entered the building. No! 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 You're not going to bark, are you? You're not going to bark. Up you get. Up. Sorry, pardon me. So what we've got is you might have a single stroke roll. You could put in a double tap with your left hand. What was that at the end? So that you go. There it is. Could have right, right, left. How I'm playing them at the moment is through triplets, you see. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... I try not to go 1 and a 2 and. That's for another thing. It's not wrong, it's just another thing, right? And there you go. So when you're actually playing any kind of rhythm, two feel. Do you see? All of a sudden, we're compounding things. You're taking a basic single stroke roll. There you go. If I'm going to go into jazz, I'll keep it straight. See? Then bring in the tars. See? Lots of little things. So you could be playing, say, a beat. And all of a sudden, it goes from something fairly basic, like a grade 1 or something like that, and all of a sudden, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, perhaps, just by putting in the little extras, the in-betweens, the add-on effect. There you go. All right. Now, what starts to go on with that is that as we're working through things like this, what you've got there is different ways to actually apply them. Okay. I had a bit of a joke a couple of lessons ago because I grew up in the time of Steve Gadd exploding onto the scene along with Billy Cobham and all that. And with your Facebooks and all this business and your YouTube shorts or Facebook reels and all that, you get these little tiny snippets, and I had to have a bit of a giggle. The Steve Gadd flutter lick. And I've gone, we never called it that. It's like reinventing the wheel kind of stuff. So, but what it really is that's what he was doing. It's like, but then, you know, you can flutter. Flutter, 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 flutter. Sorry, pardon me. Anyway, there it is. It was just beautiful for the style of music and the time. But if you try and put it in the middle of a slow blues, chances are you're going to get Kiss method, mate. Keep it simple, stupid. There. Who knows that little chestnut? So when I'm playing, say, and getting the poppets to just get a nice even flow, at some point, at least in my grade 2 book, we start getting the linkage to going from that to that, that to that, 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 that. Oh, little bit of split riding again, Steve Gabb, but if I'm playing just essentially 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're taking a basic beat. Move in between. You could put in a tom-tom. There it is. Hope you're getting something out of this. I'm calling it the add-on effect. In-betweens, you see. Okay. Getting the picture? I hope you are. And what's actually going on with this is that you start with your basic beats. Get them down first, okay? Just get a nice even groove, as basic as it is. People really appreciate it. Just that. Get to know all the names. Basic. 4 on the floor. Twist. Solve it. So on it goes. All right, get to know them. And then you can double up a little bit and all that. Then when you start to get that, put in that. See, basic. One of the things about Latin music, when we go down that track, is that you might have a 2 feel, right? So you have then you put in what H used to call the Latin bass drum. A lot of people call it the samba bass drum, but you're going from a 2 feel to, so you might have it like so you might have that, you see. So you might have mambo. There you go. And that's just a little bit there based on just taking a 2 feel. Oh, pardon me. There. To there. Doubling up, you see. All right, I better get a wriggle on here. So that's what's going on. And what's happening now is, let me take you through it. Number 1, start with your basic beats like I just showed you. You start putting a little double for the Latin bass drum, which I just sort of showed you there. You start doing the in-between. So instead of that, very easily become two in between. You see? There you go. That's more like grade 3. You see, if I'm going to grade them. And then you got accents, double. And 2 of the great little ones are right, left, left, and right, right, left, see? There it is there. And then, you know, you just put in, like I did before, double ride. It's that. There. Ha! There it is there. So I hope you're getting something out of this. Oh! I might put my triggers back in to close the show up. Dramatic. My name, Quinlan, and this is Melbourne Musos Live. And for a nice glass of